All right, so what if the next time a global conflict breaks out, we're not watching it unfold on a map, but across different dimensions? What would that even look like?
Now, that's a thought, isn't it? And that's exactly what we're diving into today with this Dimensional Wars tier list. Someone's actually ranking hypothetical interdimensional conflicts.
Someone is, and it's quite a trip. We're going from those scenarios that make you go, huh, that's uncomfortably plausible, to, okay, time to break out the physics textbooks and maybe a stiff drink.
So where do we even begin with something like this? How do you even wrap your head around it?
Well, we start with what makes sense, right? Let's talk about the C tier.
Okay, C tier. Well, what have we got?
Picture this, a World War III scenario, but with a serious upgrade. We're not just talking about nukes anymore. Think weapons that can actually bend space, tear holes between dimensions.
Okay, so like armies popping up out of thin air instead of just flanking?
Exactly. Teleportation becomes commonplace, thanks to some theoretical tech, and good old Einstein is probably rolling over in his grave.
I can see why you called it uncomfortably plausible earlier. I mean, look at how fast things are advancing even today. AI, militarization of space. It doesn't feel that far-fetched, does it?
Not at all, and it's not just us humans who might fumble into a dimensional rift. We've got first contact scenarios gone bad thrown in there too.
The classic alien misunderstanding, always a crowd pleaser.
Right, it's almost a cliche at this point. Aliens show up, we can't understand each other, somebody jumps the gun, and boom, lasers.
And the thing is, it might not even be malicious, right?
Sure.
Imagine trying to explain something like, I don't know, national borders to a being that experiences 4 dimensions of space-time.
Oh man, talk about a communication breakdown. Their idea of diplomacy would be so out there, so different, that even if they had good intentions.
It could all go sideways.
Sideways is an understatement. This is like reality-altering sideways.
Okay, so that's the C tier, kind of a warm-up, really, in the grand scheme of things.
Basically, yeah. Ready to step it up a notch.
Hit me with the B tier. What's weirder than accidental dimensional crossfire?
How about a war fought not just over territory, but the very laws of reality itself? Quantum wars.
Quantum wars. You're really raising the stakes now.
We are. Forget soldiers just teleporting around. Imagine a weapon that can make an enemy just cease to exist.
Whoa, and how does that work?
By collapsing their wave function.
So it's like weaponized quantum mechanics.
Exactly. And we're not just pulling this stuff out of thin air. We're talking about real scientific theories, like the many worlds interpretation. This is where the line between science fiction and, well, actual science starts to get blurry.
All right, that's wild. But there's more to the B tier, right? You mentioned something about alternate Earths.
Oh yeah, we can't forget about those. Invasions from alternate realities. Gets everyone riled up online, doesn't it?
Who wouldn't be fascinated by that? The possibilities are endless.
Endless is an understatement. Think about it, a world where history unfolded differently. Maybe the Library of Alexandria never burned, or maybe the dinosaurs never went extinct. Now picture that version of Earth showing up on our doorstep.
And they're probably not here for tea and biscuits, are they?
Probably not. And here's the kicker. It's not like fighting a different country, a different culture. These are beings who look like us, sounds like us.
But their entire worldview, their values, everything could be completely alien to us.
Exactly. It'd be a culture clash of epic proportions.
And you know, it really makes you wonder if there are infinite universes out there.
Are any of them truly at peace?
Or are these dimensional wars just a matter of time, playing out across the multiverse in ways we can't even comprehend?
Now that is a question, isn't it? And we're just getting warmed up. Trust me, things are about to get a whole lot weirder.
Remember how we talked about those anxieties about the unknown, about what we can't control? Well, the A tier, it takes those anxieties and turns them into like epic poems. We're talking myths, but cranked up to 11.
We're talking full-on God versus God, Clash of the Titans, but for real. Forget the Marvel movies. This is Zeus hurling lightning bolts at Odin while he's swinging Gungnir. And it's not just some spectator sport either. Imagine entire civilizations caught in the crossfire. Their gods are duking it out, their beliefs, their religions, all turned into weapons.
It's almost a question of perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if all those stories, those myths and legends we've passed down for centuries, what if they weren't just metaphors, but reflections of actual battles happening across dimensions?
And it gets weirder because the A tier isn't done with us yet. It's not enough to have gods at war. Now we're talking about a war between dreams and reality.
Now, this is where things stop being theoretical and get really personal. We've all had those dreams that felt so real, so vivid. You wake up and for a second, you're not sure where you are. Now, imagine that line between dreaming and waking, just gone.
A nightmare doesn't end when you open your eyes. It just invites itself into the real world.
Exactly. Our deepest fears, those desires we try to bury, all those weird illogical thoughts, They could manifest into actual beings from some dream dimension.
Talk about a mental breakdown. It's like the anxiety we try to ignore suddenly learned how to do special effects. But okay, let's get specific here. Let's say we've got Loki, the Norse trickster god, going up against Amaterasu, the Japanese sun goddess. How does that even work? What are the stakes? See, that's the beauty of this whole tier list. It forces us to confront the sheer scale of possibilities. Are they fighting over territory in these other dimensions? Are they trying to win over the souls that are caught in the crossfire? Or maybe it's something so fundamental to reality itself, our human brains can't even process it.
It's like everything we think we know about the universe, about our place in it, just goes out the window.
And if you think that's intense, buckle up, because the S tier and beyond, that's where we really start getting into some reality-shattering concepts.
Okay, we've gone from bending the rules of reality to straight up breaking them.
Yeah.
What does the S tier have in store?
This is where the existential dread really kicks in. Imagine a war so big, so absolute, that the fate of existence itself hangs in the balance. This isn't just about planets or galaxies, it's about the very fabric of being. We're talking angels versus demons on a multiversal scale. This isn't some biblical footnote, it's the main event.
Picture legions of angels, not just as winged figures with halos, but as embodiments of cosmic order, facing off against demons representing chaos on a scale we can barely fathom, and humanity. We're not just bystanders, we're the ultimate prize. Our very souls are the battleground in this cosmic tug of war.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it. But the S tier doesn't stop there. It also throws in cosmic entities battling for control of reality. We're talking about being so ancient and powerful, they make gods look like toddlers playing with blocks.
These aren't just deities, they're the architects of reality itself. Imagine forces that embody the fundamental laws of physics, the expansion of the universe, the very concept of time and space, locked in a struggle for supremacy. It's enough to make you question everything you thought you knew about how the universe works.
So far, we've been able to wrap our heads around these conflicts, even if it takes a bit of brain twisting. But the S tier, this is where the roadmap ends, and we're venturing into uncharted territory.
S is where time itself becomes a weapon. We're talking about time warriors facing off against dimensional guardians. Imagine beings capable of manipulating the flow of time, rewinding, fast-forwarding, creating paradoxes, all while battling those who desperately try to hold the very fabric of reality together.
So not only are they fighting across impossible battlefields, but they're also messing with when those battles happen. My head hurts.
Imagine the chaos of a battle where cause and effect are completely up for grabs. You could win a war before it even begins, or perhaps more accurately, you could win a war that never happened, or maybe will happen, or you see where I'm going with this.
Straight into a logic paradox, that's where. And just when I thought we'd reached peak incomprehensibility, we arrive at the broken tier.
This is where we confront the limits of human understanding. Imagine a war of omniscient beings, entities with infinite knowledge, capable of perceiving every possible outcome of every action. Now imagine those beings deciding to fight.
How can you even have a war between beings who know everything? Wouldn't they see every move, every counter move before it even happens? What's the point of fighting if you already know the outcome?
Exactly. It's a concept that breaks down our very understanding of conflict. It suggests there are forces out there operating on a level of existence so far beyond our own that their motives are completely unfathomable.
We're through the looking glass here, folks, and it sounds like the beyond broken tier is holding a trapdoor open to something else.
Beyond broken is where the tier list shrugs its shoulders and whispers, even we don't fully understand this, but that doesn't mean we can't take a peek.
All right, then hit me. What's in the mystery box of cosmic what the heckery this time?
Imagine the war of absolute paradoxes. We're talking about beings or forces that embody paradoxes, things that logically can't exist, but somehow do. Now imagine these walking contradictions deciding to duke it out.
So we're not even talking about good versus evil or order versus chaos anymore. It's just paradox versus paradox.
In a way, yes. It's a conflict where the very laws of logic are casualties. And while we might not be able to truly comprehend what that looks like, the fact that we can even conceive of such a thing speaks to the boundless nature of possibility.
I need a moment to process that, and a whole lot of aspirin. But we're not done, are we? There's one more layer to this cosmic onion of weirdness.
Ah, yes. The conflict within the ultimate dimension. Imagine every possible outcome of every possible conflict happening at once. across all realities, all dimensions, all timelines.
So every possible battle, every hypothetical skirmish, every what-if scenario we've discussed, they're all happening simultaneously.
It's the ultimate expression of the multiverse, a concept so vast, so all-encompassing, that it renders the very idea of understanding meaningless.
I think I've officially reached my limit for mind-blowing concepts today.
Perhaps some things are best left unexplored. But isn't it incredible that we can even imagine such things? That our minds, even with their limitations, can reach for concepts that defy logic and shatter our understanding of reality.
You know what? Maybe a little existential dread isn't such a bad thing. It reminds us just how much is out there, waiting to be discovered, debated, and maybe even feared a little. So, to everyone listening, keep exploring those strange corners of thought, keep asking the big questions, and maybe keep a nightlight on, just in case. You never know what might be lurking just beyond the veil of reality. Until next time, keep those brain cells firing, everyone.